We are holding on page Kuf Mem Ches, right in the middle of the page, and with the Rebbe is explaining the difference between the miracles that took place coming out of Mitzrayim and what's going to happen when Mashiach comes. That difference. So we explain Al Pi Kabbalah. So we have three names of Kabbalah that we're talking about. We're talking about Malchus, Bina, and Atik. Malchus being the lower level, Bina being the middle level, and Atik being the highest level. We are linking it to that by Yetzias Mitzrayim, the Yidden were in the Mem Teshari Tumah, the 49 gates of Tumah, the lowest levels of Tumah, and had to climb out of that. And so you had the 49 days where the Yidden were able to go from level to level until when we received the Torah by Hashem. That was the revelation of the Nun Shari Bina. The Mashiach will come, there'll be the revelation of the Nun Shari Bina as they are in their source. So I just want to take a couple minutes to describe these Kabbalistic concepts. The best way we get it, is by understanding how you have similar dynamics in the Nefesh HaAdam, in the person. So we've got three levels, Malchus, Bina, Atik. In the person, Malchus is representative of Dibur, of speech. And the Kabbalah says Malchus Peh, the level of Malchus. Then you've got a deeper level of the person for one's understanding, his attitude, your understanding. That corresponds to the Seichel, to Bina. And then you've got something deeper within a person, also their inner motivation and drive, something within the essence of who they are as in the Neshama. That would be, we refer to as in the person, his rotzen, or his inner tainuk, his will, or inner motivation and satisfaction level within him. That refers to Atik. So the Kabbalah uses these terms that sound like what are they? And so it's different levels of revelation of godliness. In the person, for example, that there's an inbuilt desire in a human being to have a home. The Gemara says that every person who doesn't have a home is missing in who they are as a human being. So we've got an inbuilt desire to want to have a home. What does that look like deep down in the person? It's an inner satisfaction and then motivation to want to have a home. So now you want to build it. So you need a blueprint. You need a picture. You need to have a something that you say matches who you are. And everyone's a little different. And then you have, once you've actually got the plan, you've got to talk about it and get somebody to build it. So in general terms, you've got these three levels. The outer level is, okay, let's build this room, this door, these measurements. That's all the details of that. It's got to be specifically defined. You've got a deeper picture of the whole picture of how it's going to look, of everything in one viewpoint in your mind. And then you've got the undergirding of why do you want to have this place? Because I want to have my place where I live. It's mine. And every part needs I own it, and it's my inner, that gets satisfaction from the whole thing once it's built and it's there. So let's take it in this house. You got to speak about the details: a door, a kitchen, a couch, and a living room, a bedroom, all the different parts, and they've got to be specifically made with all those details. And then you've got the whole thing as one picture on a blueprint, or in your mind, before it's put on the blueprint. And then now, so once it's made, you've got to start from the outside. You can't go to a hardware store and say, I need my place. Well, they're going to look at you and say, okay, you need a screw, you need a piece of wood, you need paint. All that stuff is the details. Once it's put together, and you can say, okay, good, here's the kitchen, here's the living room. It begins to take form. These physical items just stay physical items. There's nothing more. However, once you move into it and it's yours, there's that satisfaction that you have. I got my place. Imagine if that feeling could permeate the physical, so that it is a door handle that you picked up at Home Depot, and it is a large room where you have a living room. Besides that, if every item in the house would feel the satisfaction that the person has, that it's my home. Obviously, in physical stuff, we can't do that. Then the whole house would be different. Every piece of the house would scream, I'm Yankel's house. This is Ruvain's house. I'm Ruvain's. It wouldn't say, if you could ask, what are you? A door handle, a living room, a kitchen? What are you? So in the hardware store, it tells you what it is as a detail. But once it's all been put together, if it would feel the inner satisfaction of being of the owner, it's a whole different story. Every part then would be permeated with this. I'm Yankel's. So these three levels in general terms is what the Kabbalah refers to with Hashem's plan of creating a world and showing up in the world. Malchus is the active creative level. The 10 sayings with which Hashem created the world, that godly divine creative energy, that's level of Malchus. And so with that you have a world which would match the details of how you have, go to the hardware store to buy a house. You've got to have daimim, sameach, chai, medaber, the inanimate, the vegetation, animals and people, all the multitude of species of everything, and all the millions and tens of millions of angels, of malachim, that has to be in place to have our world. All that is through the energy of Malchus. Then you've got a broad picture of the whole thing, of that which showed up when the Torah was given. That level is a level of bina, or seichel, where there's all the details, but it's not on the level of the details. It's permeated with there's an intention. There's a map of everything. It's all on a level before creation, where there's a higher purpose, ability to bring that into the whole world. The Torah was given, the Nun Shari Bina. And then you have, when Mashiach comes, what's going to be that every part of the world is going to feel that it's in order to make a dwelling place for Hashem here. And that's the inner intention as to why everything else is there. The same way as by the person, there's an inner drive to have my home. It comes from Hashem's inner peace, essence that says, I'm creating this universe to make, I want a dear betachtonim, I want a dwelling place in this lower world. So it started off by having a world that was just a world, Malchus. You had all the details. Then there came out that there was the ability to permeate this with something deeper, the giving of the Torah. Within the Torah, which was the blueprint as all together as one piece, the understanding that there is, Hashem gave that koyach to the Yidden to bring in every aspect of the world its purpose. And once it's all been completed, then what's going to shine through? That it's Hashem's world. We will have put the two in sync. That you have and that's called Atik. And in that there's multiple levels. There's the external aspect of Atik, there's the inner aspect, the Pnimius, which shines in that the Ein Sof. Ein Sof meaning the infinite revelation of Hashem as He's infinite, that there's no limit to His expression and being able to permeate every aspect of creation, which is how the whole universe will fill when Mashiach comes. So we've got this flow. And on these different levels. So that might explain a little bit how we have these names, which the Kabbalah says, well, what does it mean, Atik? That's like a scary name. It's not a scary. It depicts this level, inner level of the infiniteness of Hashem, and it has the Kabbalah gives it a name, so we can talk about it, so we can examine it, and there's different layers within it itself. So I hope that's a little bit more helpful in explaining these Kabbalistic inyanim. So right in the middle of this ois base on page Kuf Memches, and the line begins Tziyah with a tof at the end of the line by note 12. At the end of the line, so we're saying that the Atik is going to be revealed when Mashiach comes. When it says about Mashiach, by the note 13, the next line, Hina Yaskel Avdi Yoram V'Nisav V'Govim Ha'id. It says, the Navi says about Mashiach that he's going to be the Shai, the Navi Yeshaya. He'll understand, he'll be my servant, to be uplifted greatly. So the word Ma'oid means very much. Like we have in Shema, V'Havtis Hashem L'Kecha, B'Chol L'Vavacha, B'Chol Nafshchol Me'udecha. So this Ma'oid, as it's written, Zed, the cause of Gabi Mashiach, who B'chinas Pnim Yisatik. It refers to the level of Pnim Yisatik, the most inner levels of this word of Atik, of B'Lashon the Priyetz Chaim, and as the Kabbalah says, Shekol Hamshoch is Achshov Hemrak Mib'chinas Chitzon Yisatik. All the revelations that we have in our world today, till Mashiach comes from the external aspect of Atik. However, Lasid Love, Hamshachos Vigili B'chinas Pnim Yisatik. And when Mashiach comes, will come to the most inner level of the infiniteness of Hashem, as it can be brought down into our world. So everything will be permeated with, this is Hashem's world. Ella, Shafa Pikain, Bedam HaKosiv, HaNefloah Sheyi, Begula Siddur, Nefloah Shahoy V'Msiyus Yisrael. So even though you're going to have this high level, nevertheless, the Torah still compares the wonders that there are going to be when Mashiach comes to that in Mitzrayim. Why? Or Kipir Shapasha, Takosef Shabigula Siddur Yeh, Aren Nefloah, Kamei, Shahoy Yimei, Yitzaisus Mitzrayim. Like when Mashiach comes in the Gula, there'll be miracles like there was coming out of Mitzrayim. Kigambi Yitzias Mitzrayim, Hayigilim Hachinailim. Because by Yitzias Mitzrayim, you had these tremendously great revelations. Our Rebbe Rashab explains in his famous set of Maimarim that were Tafresh base, that when we say that was revealed to them, Melech Malchem Lochem HaKadosh Baruch Hu it's revealed to the Yidden, the King of all kings, in his honor, in his glory in himself. When you say he's B'Choved, Hashem's Kavod, and his essence, that's tremendously great levels. Ella, however, should be Yitzias Mitzrayim Haya Gili de Bechinas Alidei Hislapshus Bechinas Malchus. That when came Mitzrayim, this revelation was in Malchus. As the Pasuk says, Pasuk Havayal Pesach, Hashem passed over the doorways. The Pesach Hu Bechinas Malchus. Pesach, the doorway, refers also to Malchus. And when Mashiach comes, it won't be hidden. It won't be enclosed in any type of garment. And so not only you won't have the breaking of the worldliness, it'll be uplifted and permeated with the revelation of Hashem. That won't be covered over anymore, won't be enclosed, covered over anymore, your teacher. We'll pick up tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem. Ois Gimel.